Hi there! What is love? Google says it's an intense feeling of deep affection or a great interest and pleasure in something. For example, his love for football. Some would say Love Actually is all around, but Love Actually, a staple of Christmas cinema. Christmas, you say? It's almost February. Whack! With such titular characters as horny, horny and old, contractually horny but wholesome at heart. Having watched the film since I was a chubby kid, I've grown some contrarian thoughts about the plot, but one that seems to rise above the rest is that Mia isn't that bad of a person. Now, the internet may call her a tart, but Mia, portrayed by Heike McCash, has always, in my eyes, been unfairly judged by the audience. I always wished someone could correctly convey my thoughts as to why Mia was actually a much more redeemable character than everyone made her out to be. And then I went and did 3 years of tertiary study. I have a degree. Now I can tell you why Mia isn't that bad of a person. Because I have a degree. Look at it. Ignore the stains on it. Ignore the stains. I got it dirty. Okay, let's start with a reenactment of the scenes, followed by a breakdown of each scene and why I think the character is incorrectly portrayed in this source material. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty essay, this one, so if you wanna watch something a little more relatable, I have plenty of other videos you can go to.
Right there.
Right here. You're in it now. Okay, quick expo dump. Harry is Alan Rickman. He's a businessman, and Mia, who is Heike Matash, is working at his place and she is new. Harry has put her in charge of planning the Christmas party and scene. Oh Christ, you haven't got some 6 foot tight t-shirt wearing boyfriend you'll be bringing, have you? No, I'll just be hanging around the mistletoe, waiting to be kissed. Now, the original perception of these lines is that Mia is flirting with Harry, but I think that's just because Harry's not down with that millennial humor. Mia's throwing out some sick, self-deprecating millennial humor, and you kind of just need to be in the know to understand it. Am I right, kids? We're down with it. I'm young. I'm not getting older and older by the day. I haven't passed my prime. She's not saying, hey, wanna get on this? She's all like, wah, I'm all alone, wah. Next! This is in reference to the Christmas party. Good, it's an art gallery, filled with dark corners. Great for doing dark deeds. Oh right, well, I suppose I should take a look at it or something. You should. Now, I'm no love fool. I know a little thing about the game or whatnot. But once again, I think that the loveliness of this scene is being misconstrued. There's no horniness going on in Love Actually. What's really happening is that Mia has been told by Harry in a previous scene that the Christmas party is an adult event. There's no kids, people are gonna be getting crunk, Kevin's going to be harassing some women sexually. Yeah, that's right. Love Actually has a scene where Harry says that one of his co-workers sexually harasses people at Christmas parties and doesn't fire him. He just lets it happen? That's not good. That's bad. That's a bad characteristic to have in your love film. So the venue that Mia gets for the Christmas party is actually a pretty decent one. It's an art gallery. Her friend owns it, so she's getting it cheaper somehow. Really, she's a party planning princess. And then she asks her employer to go and check it out because, yeah, she cares about his input because he's had this Christmas party before. She's a model employee. Mia has done nothing wrong. Next. Any chance for a dance with the boss? Yeah, sure. As long as your boyfriend doesn't mind. Oh, no, not my boyfriend. You're looking very pretty tonight. Oh, it's for you. Sorry. It's all for you, sir. Alright, so for this one, I can't use denial anymore, so let's just throw it out onto the table. Mia, in some respects, is attracted to this man. But she handles herself pretty okay. She was drunk and she says that the party was all for him, and realistically, she handles herself pretty well for someone who is being complimented outrightly by her crush. I don't know about you guys, but if my crush came up to me and said, nice gams, I'd collapse on the ground. Just writhing there, screaming, no, me, no. Next. Okay, fast context again. Harry called the office, Mia answered. She asked him if he was buying gifts for her. He responds, "So, are you getting me something?" I thought I made it clear last night. When it comes to me, you can have everything. So, what do you need? Something along the stationery line? How are you for staplers? I don't want something I need. I want something pretty. First, can I start by saying Harry is a sociopath. Who answers the question, are you getting me gifts with, are you getting me gifts? What is that? Robot man, fueled by greed. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. The writer came out and directly said that Harry and Mia boinked. Except she didn't. Go and look at the tweets. The writer originally said that she didn't want it to be a full-on affair. She only wanted it to be like flirtation. But I have a different interpretation. The Mia and Harry storyline is actually being told by Harry's wife. And that's why we don't find out if it becomes a full-blown affair or not. Because Harry's wife never finds out. She never wants to know if it actually happened, and so she can't tell other people whether it happened. The storyline is from her viewpoint, and that's why Mia is one-dimensional. Because in her eyes, she's just this thing that Harry fell for, a vixen. But that's not how she is. If you go and see the one other scene that isn't in that storyline that has Mia, when the PM comes to her doorstep, you'll find out she's very helpful and kind. That's because she's not actually this fiction. She's a third-dimensional human being. She's real, she's got layers. All right, on to the next point, the power dynamic. Harry is Mia's boss. Now, I don't have a doctorate in love, because I couldn't pass Loving Yourself 101, and it's a prerequisite for the rest of the courses. But the way that in the first scene Harry is asking Mia if she has a boyfriend is clear flirtation and is something you shouldn't do if you're someone's boss, and it's definitely something you shouldn't do if you yourself are in a loving relationship with your wife. There are 3 people who get to ask me if I'm in a relationship. My mum, my extended family at Christmas, and the state. So your boss is hitting on you. So what do? Do you stop his advances? Possibly lose all of your job prospects? This bit's not funny. This is actually a very serious thing that women have to deal with in the workplace a lot. It goes on far too often, and this is a very real situation that Mia is in. So she lets it slide because she loves her job. It was really hard to get into the place where she is. And he's not hurting anyone at the moment, right? And he's got his own thing, he's got his own charm. Surely letting this go on for a little bit longer won't hurt. This is my reasoning for the headspace of Mia. She's not some sort of two-dimensional vixen. She's a real person with real feelings, and she's got an issue that she's got to deal with. How she relates with her boss in the workplace. She's got a choice to make, and it's a choice that I would never, ever feel comfortable making. With that said, Rick Grimes does the exact same crimes, and no one seems to care. Quick hit of knowledge, because there's like 72 characters in this film. Rick Grimes, aka Andrew Lincoln, plays Mark. He's the guy who's the art dude who falls in love with his best friend's newlywed bride. Oh, but no, his advances with the cute little cards are all fine, aren't they? Why? Because he's a man? It's a terrible answer to that question, but pretty valid. Think about it, screenwriters. Is it okay because his advances are emotional rather than sexual? Is professing your sexual love worse than professing your emotional love? In my mind, it's actually much worse to profess your emotional love to someone. A sexual fling is a sexual fling. Harry's gonna forget Mia. This is a situation that happens in marriages that fail. People get bored of each other. It all happens. It's a terrible thing to live with, but it's a situation people get into. Sometimes you find yourself forcing yourself into a relationship rather than actually falling into love. Actually. Whereas what Mark has done? Mark has planted a weed in the relationship between Juliet and her lover. Every time they have a fight, she's going to know that he's right around the corner with his cute little cards, loving her every day. It's terrible, and it's going to break the foundations of this newlywed bride's romantic love. Also, the fact that the Australian police used this scene to show us that they loved us this year, it's pretty sketchy. Who are they suggesting is inside the house with us? Is it crime? Do they think crime's in the house with us? So that's why Mia isn't that bad of a person as you think she is. One, because we actually never see her side of the story. We only get others' interpretations of it. 2, because it does take two to tango, and when your dance partner is your literal boss, questions of ethics get brought in. And number 3, because you didn't think the things she did were that bad, when someone else did them in a slightly different way. So what did we learn from all of this? Well, a couple of things. First up, unreliable narrators. We only ever see a film through the way that the ideals of the filmmaker want to be projected. And this way we flatten characters down into how they progress the plot. Secondly, we should look at all of the characters in a film in relation to each other, to find out what acts we actually find reprehensible and what we find redeemable. And understanding that that's a full grey area. There is no black and white in this situation. And 3, man, don't look too deeply into a film that came out 15 years ago that your mum makes you watch every year. I had to watch this film an extra 3 times this year and had to read it multiple times. And the Martin Freeman romance only goes on for a very, very small amount of screen time. So I've taken up enough of your time, so go out there, realize that people are fully realized people, so one day you too might fall in love. Actually.
Fuck you.
And if you disagree with any of my facts, remember, I did in fact do a degree. I have a degree in film. I spent 3 years of my life studying films. And this is where I am. Oh boy.